And Great Britain is in mourning following the death of Prince Philip. The husband of Queen Elizabeth died Friday morning at Windsor Castle at the age of 99.
And this morning, we do have new details now regarding his funeral. Those details were announced today. Prince Philip's royal ceremonial funeral is going to take place April 17th at Windsor Castle. Now, due to COVID restrictions, only select people will be able to attend.
The Duke of Edinburgh took part in planning his funeral, and the focus on family was in accordance with his wishes. And he also took part in designing the modified Land Rover that will be carrying his coffin.
Prince Harry, who did step away from royal duties last year and now lives here in California, is expected to attend the service along with other members of the royal family. His wife Meghan, though, the Duchess of Sussex, who is pregnant, has been advised by her doctors not to attend.
The Duke of Edinburgh has been at his wife's side, the Queen, throughout her 69-year reign. Greg Paulcott has more now on his life and his legacy.
He was best known as the man behind the woman, literally a pace or two behind her, according to official protocol. He was Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, husband to England's Queen Elizabeth II.
I think we owe him an enormous debt of gratitude, really, for the very great help he gave the Queen.
Born in Greece in 1921 into a royal family with Danish and German ties, he was also a great-great-grandson of Britain's Queen Victoria. Came to England and went on to serve in the British Royal Navy during World War II. He married Elizabeth, the daughter of then King George VI, in 1947 in Westminster Abbey. 5 years later, in 1952, the king died. Elizabeth became queen. Prince Philip traveled the world, carrying out on average some 300 engagements a year. He was active in a variety of fields important to Britain, including business, the environment, the military, and sports, especially polo. He was a strict but loving father to Prince Charles, Princess Anne, and Princes Andrew and Edward.
My father was a wonderful man. He was a very brilliant man.
In an age of increasing political correctness, he was a man of good humor and a prince of plain speaking. He's best known to Americans as the person who reportedly encouraged Prince Charles to make a decision about marrying Princess Diana in 1981. At Diana's funeral, the prince walked alongside his grandsons, William and Harry.
He has received very little credit. So I think his understanding of the problems was much deeper and more shrewd, and indeed much more gentle than he has been given credit for.
In 2011, there was a happier occasion, the wedding of his grandson William to Kate Middleton. At that event, as always, he was at the side of his wife, Queen Elizabeth.
As a solid supporter, they worked very well together.
In 2012, he was also by the Queen's side for her Diamond Jubilee celebration. In 2013, he attended the christening of his great-grandson and future king, Prince George. In 2016, after marking the Queen's 90th birthday, soon making her the world's longest-reigning monarch, he marked his 95th, making him the longest-serving consort or spouse of a reigning British monarch. In 2017, at the age of 96, the prince bowed out of public life, putting in just solo engagements, including attending the wedding of his grandson, Prince Harry, to American Meghan Markle in 2018. They gave him another great-grandson, Archie, in 2019. Also in 2019, he got into a car accident. The prince was shaken up and turned over his car keys. Then, in February 2021, he was admitted to London hospitals for an infection and heart treatment. The next month, Harry and Meghan gave the interview to Oprah, which shook up the monarchy again. Happily, he was released from hospital after just under a month. In June, Philip was set to mark his 100th birthday. As he summed up his life in one interview, "I reckon I've done my bit."